stupid if you didn't go along.
Yeah, he'd even let me know that he would say things like, "You're making such a big deal that he had a phrase. He'd say, "Why do you have to turn everything into a storm in a teacup?" He'd love to say that, a storm in a teacup. I'm like, no, it's my feelings, or it's what's happening between us. Are you going to let it ruin the day? Yeah, maybe I do want to. It was but he was very good. He established it right off. I mean, immediately like by the second date, he was already implementing strategies in there to let me here. Well, first we have to set it up. Like, why would I care? Well, he presented as the perfect person. I'd never met anybody that I felt so matched with. So I was really invested.
Yeah, he had to present himself as the perfect person, because only then would you open up to him. Only then would you reveal who you really were, how your inner world worked. And that's the information he needed.
Yeah.
So one of the things that it would be very clear at the beginning of any relationship, these men told us that they would, first of all, within a half hour of meeting somebody, they would assess whether they were kind or not. So if you were a bitch, which is what we call them here, ladies who only thought about themselves or who were high maintenance, they wouldn't touch you. So you had to be kind. And the second most important thing is you had to be truthful. So you didn't dress up your own life. You told them what was happening for you, your dreams and your anxieties and your previous experiences and all of that. Bit by bit, you didn't have to tell them all in the one day, but you began to speak like that about yourself. And that's what fed his information. That's what gave him control over your mind.
Yeah, I concluded at the end, when I stood back and looked at the whole thing from a psychological perspective, I realized I never knew him. I have no idea who he is. And I was in a relationship and married to him for 2 years and knew him for 3. I never knew him.
Right. Yeah, that's the really sad thing, because I'm not sure how far psychology has gone, but when I looked up psychology 20 years ago and gave up on it, I realized that there was very few discussions about evil people.
Yeah.
But that's what they are. These guys are evil. I remember Scott Peck, he's probably before your time.
No, I read his book.
Right. He read The People of the Lie.
Mm-hmm.
And
excellent book.
In that book, he said that he wasn't sure about evil people. He said one thing he realized was that he worked in the prisons in the East Coast. And he said that the evil people are not in the prisons. There are some people who've done very evil things, but they're not evil people. He said the evil people are out wearing the best of suits and the best of shoes and parading themselves around. And how he would describe evil is somebody who gets out of bed every morning with the intention of undermining another human being.
Yes.
That's what's going on. That's how they think. It comes kind of easy to them, but that's what they spend their whole day doing. You become their project, and they want to make sure that they are infiltrating your thoughts and manipulating how you react.
Yes. I watched him groom a young nurse who was taking care of his mother, who happened to be living with us because of needing surgery, pretty significant surgery. So we were in another country, and we had a young nurse come in to do the care for her. And I watched him start to slowly work on her, to get her to trust him, to tell him things, to confide. He'd rescue her in the rain and go pick her up so she didn't have to take the taxi. These little subtle moves. And then when things broke apart and we weren't in the area and he moved away, she texted him. I caught the text, and she said, "What happened? Why are you not talking to me? Why are you not?" I mean, I was thankful for her because I know it saved her, but I could see the emotional connection he had built with her, that she was grieving the loss of the connection.
Yeah.
He called it hunting. He was hunting.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're predators. Yeah. But as most predators, you need to be very subtle. You can't just run up and jump on somebody. You have to make sure that they don't run away. You have to make sure that when you're being abusive, that they blame themselves for it.
Yeah.
And you can increase the abuse bit by bit then until such time as you gain complete dominance, and the person that you're targeting has no idea how it happened or what happened even, but they certainly feel it.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up this interview and jump over to the podcast